How can you run longer without getting tired? How can you stay on course, on trail for 10 hours and not feel like crap? A feeling I will always chase is this feeling of being on trail and just gliding through it. You're running, but you're not really aware that you're running. You're moving on the trail. You're flying through the trail. You're just going. Slow breathing, you're just looking at the view and you're just in the zone. That's what I want to talk about today. How can you run longer without getting tired, and what are some specific tips that can help you get there? Hi, my name is Simon. Welcome to my channel. I'm an ultra runner with 3,300 miler under my belt, and none of that would have been possible if I hadn't learned how to run longer without getting tired. But how do you do that? I mean, running longer seems pretty straightforward, just run longer, but you get tired from it. But how can you reach a stage where you increase the distance, but also you're still feeling good and you're able to be out there for a very long time? So today I'm giving you 6 tips on how to improve your running so that you can run longer without getting necessarily tired. And these are quick tips, but they're quick tips because they're quick for me to give, but these are very long tips in terms of how you need to practice and be consistent day in and day out to actually reach that. But what I can tell you is that it is possible to run, for example, a marathon and be absolutely not tired afterwards. And with these tips, you'll be able to do that too, with enough training. Tip number 1. The first one is probably the most obvious one, and we kind of all know it, but we all do it improperly, which is run slower. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm already running slow, Simon, but I'm getting tired. And that's my point. You're doing it wrong. You're not running slow enough. You're running slow-ish, but you need to run slower. And next time you go on your long run, try and do it slower. And you'll run slow and think about me that says, no, this is still too fast, dummy. Run slower than that. No, still too fast. Slower than that. What we're aiming for is a zone 2 training, and we can talk about hard zone. I talked a little bit about that in my how to build a training schedule, but try to aim for a zone 2. And the most common thing you hear when you tell someone to do that is, that's impossible. I cannot stay in zone 2 and run. I would need to walk. Well, there you go. You just found the solution. You can run, walk during your training to get used to longer distance. What you're trying to do is not reach a destination quickly. What you're trying to do is reach the destination fresh.
Feeling fresh like chocolate ice cream. Mile 70, fresh like a toast.
And if that means having a run-walk strategy, guess what? Then run-walk. Set yourself sometimes. Maybe you jog for 4 minutes, then you walk for 1 minute, 4 minutes, 1 minute. Oh, reminder, you're not walking, you're power hiking, but that's beside the point today. Point is, alternate between the two. That is totally okay. If that helps you stay in your zone 2, do that for now, and eventually you might be able to get rid of that power hiking segment and just be jogging. But for now, what we're trying to do is keep the hard zone low, because look, on race day, if you're running an ultra marathon, you're probably gonna be power hiking a lot of that anyway. So don't be silly and think that in training you only need to be jogging or running all the time. No, power hiking is part of that. And find your rhythm, find your slow rhythm that helps you stay fresh. So run slower, which could mean walk.
Would you like any some cheesy bacon mashed potatoes?
The second one is somewhat related to that, which is a change of a mindset. You're not trying to reach a destination as soon as possible. You're really trying to reach a destination feeling fresh, which means what we're aiming for is sustainability. That means you're never in the red in terms of effort, but importantly, in terms of fueling and hydrating. And the best way to stay fresh on your long run and not be tired is to eat properly, drink properly. And I made a video about this, how to fuel your run. Take a time to look at it, take a time to study that, and take a time to practice it. Because fueling properly and running for a long time without getting tired are intimately related. They go together. And never underestimate the importance of that. Another important tip is that you have to be patient and you have to trust the process. You will not get to a point where you can run very long distance seamlessly tomorrow. It will take a lot of time and it will take a lot of training, but you have to trust the process and stay consistent. Improve gradually your mileage. Include slow run in that. Your back-to-back long run, remember, you're going slow. I said back-to-back long run. I'm okay if you want to call that back-to-back moving. You're walking too, totally fine. Be patient. Don't expect results tomorrow. But one day, if you keep a log, you'll actually notice. I remember very specifically the day that I went for a marathon in my training, and I said, I'm gonna finish this marathon without being tired. Nothing else matters. I don't care about the finishing time. And I did it. I was like, wow, I can't believe I did a marathon in training, and I can't believe that I'm feeling relatively good. Of course, a little tired, but relatively fresh. Would it have been possible for me to run after that? Yeah. And that was the goal. The goal was to reach that. So you will reach that, not tomorrow, not next week. It's gonna take maybe 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. It's gonna take time, but know that you're gonna reach that destination if you stay consistent. Work on your mental game. Endurance sports and long distance running, yes, it's obviously physical, but it's also very mental, and you need to change your mindset. I've said it a few times already, and I'll say it a few more times. You're not trying to reach a destination quickly. You're trying to reach the destination fresh. That's what we're working on right now. It's running longer without getting tired, not running longer and getting there as soon as possible. And having this patience is tough. We always want to run faster. It's tough to, you're jogging, you're feeling good at 11-minute mile. My body will naturally move to a 10-minute mile and then 9-minute mile, and will go as fast as my body can. And you need to say, no. First of all, let's set ourselves a pace and let's not go faster than that. And if you're including walking, stick to it. We're not trying to reach that as soon as possible. We're trying to reach that as fresh as possible. As simple as that. And there's a lot of mental trick that you can have with that. It can be as simple as listening to music. It can be as simple as having a reminder, but it can be as simple as just thinking, what are you trying to do right now? And coming back to the why this long run is in your training. The why is to build that. The why is to run your first marathon in training where did the miles go? The other one that is pretty good is have something to think about. Personally, my long runs is the time of the week that I'm just disconnecting. I'm not thinking about anything. I'm not thinking about anything specific, but my mind is busy, and it's just a way to disconnect from work or from any trouble and just going. If you enjoyed this video, if you think it's helpful, please leave a thumbs up. That is helping me a lot.
Even better, if you've been following my adventure over the past 2 years racing 2400 miler, Nora, my wife, has been nominated as Best Pacer of the Year by Ultra Sign Up. She's a finalist. And if you're not very familiar with her, I highly suggest go look at movies like Ure 100 or Badwater or Leadville, and I guarantee you will fall under her charm. She's absolutely wonderful. She's my partner in crime. She's a pacer, trainer, crew. She's always there supporting me. This year alone, she's paced me for 7 races, including crewing. So sometimes it goes up to 50 hours, running for 20, 30, 40 miles with me, always keeping a smile, always being there for me, always being a good source of inspiration. And a big reason this channel is possible is thanks to her. If you want to help me say thank you to my wonderful Nora, please go in the link in the description below where you can vote for her as the best pacer of the years. It will mean the world to her, the world to me, and it's a great way to say thank you. So thank you, Nora. You mean the world to me. None of that would be possible without you.
If your long runs are very boring, something you could consider is having some running buddies. And your running buddies have a lot of different purpose. First, just running with other people is pleasant. If they're a more experienced runner, they can have tips for you. If they're at the same level, you're growing together, which is always helpful. They will help you maintain your pace because they have a pace goal also. So if we say we're going 10-minute mile, they'll probably be around 10-minute mile, and if they see you going faster, they'll probably slow down. So it's helping controlling the pace. The other thing that it's doing is that Zone 2 is associated to being able to talk. That's the way we describe it usually. if you're with someone and you have to talk, it's difficult to go too fast. So you naturally go a little slower and time will go by faster. And next thing you know, it's been 2 hours. You've run your 12 miles and you're feeling good. And you had an interesting kind of disconnection from the world and you met a new connection. So a running buddy, super helpful. Obviously, the advantage of running with someone are multiple. It's also, at least personally, if I tell someone we're going to run tomorrow, we're running tomorrow. Whereas if I would only tell myself, it's more likely that I skip the workout. But it will help you be consistent, which goes back to consistent training through the months will be what will help you do these long runs and not be tired. Breathing is super important when you're running, and I see a lot of videos about how to correct your running form, but how to breathe properly is not nearly as common, and I find that a little bit baffling because I think one of the biggest switch that I did beyond just the mindset of I'm gonna run for a very long time and not be tired is how to breathe properly. And we tend to breathe too fast, we tend to breathe with our mouth a lot. When you're trying to do something that is long distance and not be too tired, try and focus on nose breathing as much as possible. And I don't know if there's any physiological reason why it would be any different, but the biggest difference, at least for me, is that it's harder to breathe through my nose, which means I can be out of breath. I can be at a pace where I would need to breathe like that would not happen through my nose. If I'm breathing through my nose, I will naturally go slower. The other thing that is good for that is also to try and pace it. So you can set yourself a rhythm and think of, I will breathe in every 3 steps. That's how long I'm breathing in through my nose. Then I will breathe out either with my mouth or my nose for the next 3 steps. And then you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. First is distracting you, which is good. If you can, it's like counting the sheep to fall asleep. I think this is just to help you move and like not think too much. But also it will slow down your breathing. It will calm you down, and it will help you stay at a level that is much more zone 2, which is much more we're going slow, but we're going for a long time. It's proper breathing. So nose breathing, count your steps, and practicing. It's good to stay aware, and the more often you do that, the more natural it will become, where you don't really need to think about your breathing anymore. You're just going to do it properly. Now I know it can be tough to just nose breathe through like a full marathon, so you can set also yourself some goals. Maybe every mile your watch will bing bing bing, it's been 1 mile. Then for the next, I don't know, 0.1 mile, just focus on just doing that. Breathing through your nose every 3 steps or every 4 steps, whatever will be comfortable for you. And you're really focusing on that. And then when it's gone, like, you release. But I'm sure you will notice that you really have to control yourself to not breathe through your mouth at the beginning. But that's going to help you squeeze it down. We're running slow right now. They're quick tips, and maybe sometimes you feel they're a little bit vague. But for me, these 6 things is really what has helped me move from running a half marathon was a big deal to running a 100-miler every month. And it's focusing on these things, focusing on reaching the destination, and I don't care about how long it takes. And these tips, all of them are geared towards you training hard, you doing what you need in training, providing what your body needs, but also making sure you're not going too fast. Because we always go too fast, and I'm saying it again, and when you go on your next long run, think about me that says you're running too fast, dummy, then you're gonna slow down, and I'll say you're still running too fast. Walk. There's so much, no shame in walking to be able to be consistent. Try to think about it on your next long run so that you try, and your goal is not necessarily the mileage or anything, it's to stay fresh. Like I said before, fresh like chocolate ice cream. And I can guarantee there is a feeling that is very difficult to describe of just being able to do these miles and just basically flying. Not flying because you're going fast. I'm not, I'm not Jim Wasley, but you don't feel any pain from that. It's just movement. You're just moving through the trails, and that requires a lot of practice and these tips, but I know you can get there.
As you can see, I'm taking the time during the holiday to put these movies together, sometimes a little bit away from family, to help you guys. So it would be a great way to say thank you back, would be to go on Ultra Sign Up in the link below and vote for Honora Einhorn as the best pacer of the year. Thank you so much.
Yay!